The title of this video is no gimmick, and through 7 weeks of football, we've seen teams lose to teams that they're supposed to beat. We've seen teams come out to amazing starts, but we've also seen teams come out and find different ways to win games while floating under the radar. And that's exactly where the Seattle Seahawks team fits in at. Usually I'd have all these facts and reasonings for why you should believe me, but today, we'll just let the film do the talking. This play is a perfect example of this team's potential. These three guys are the key to this play. First, the Seahawks start by motioning Tyler Lockett, but they're doing something interesting to where they hike it mid-motion and just have Tyler spin back out. And the play action is just to make sure that these linebackers hesitate for 1 second, making this an easier throw. But the unsung hero of this play is Colby Parkinson, just out there clearing the way for Tyler Lockett and anyone who comes near. But this play confirms what I said earlier about potential. Empty backfield, and you have Jackson Smith-Njigba, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and Colby Parkinson. And as this play develops, you find out this is Kenneth Walker. And the defense may have forgot about him this time, but they won't make that same mistake again. Seattle's sitting at 4-2 with a key win over the 1-loss Lions and 2 questionable losses. One coming on the first game of the season to the Rams, and the other in the effort where the defense held Joe Burrow to just 185 yards passing. So to say the least, the Seahawks are right where they want to be, only sitting 1 game behind the San Francisco 49ers. What's impressive to me is how the Seahawks are getting it done. They found certain plays or concepts that really suit their guys well as not caring how sexy the win is, as long as it's a win. And they have found something with this funky backfield. In this set, there are 2 fullbacks in the backfield along with the running back. So this formation is screaming run. And just as it was meant to do, it gets the linebackers jumping down out of their zone, which opens up a huge hole behind them for an easy completion to DK Metcalf. And this time they get in the same formation, but they run it with 2 tight ends. And giving a back like Kenneth Walker a running start with blockers ahead of him is the last thing you want to see coming. But the only way that this formation could even work is if you have a dominant run game. So far this season, Kenneth Walker is 10th in the NFL in rushing yards with 450, but the offense is 20th in rushing yards per game with only 106. But even though the numbers may not be ideal, the plays that Kenneth Walker makes are uncoachable. Like here, his vision is the only reason that this is a positive play. This run is designed to go to the left, but the Cardinals do a great job of filling those gaps. And right here is when most backs would just plow ahead for a short gain, but somehow Kenneth sees the cutback lane and just bursts through it. It seems small, but it's a great read to turn a small gain into a gain of about 7 to 8. But it's plays like these that really showcase all of his talents. Again against the Cardinals, and again the Cardinals do a great job of clogging the initial hole. But Kenneth's quick feet allow him to evade another defender while bouncing it outside on his way to a huge gain. But offensively, this team has performed just above average. In the first 4 games of the season, they only had 1 turnover, but in the last 2 games alone, they've had 5 turnovers. And not to mention their red zone issues, but despite all of that, this defense has been a staple so far this season. For only the 5th time in franchise history, the Seahawks have allowed less than 250 yards for 3 straight games. And last year, the rookie sensation was Tariq Woolen, but this year they struck gold again when they drafted Devon Witherspoon. And along with Jamal Adams coming back healthy, this defense is loaded with dogs who aren't afraid to fly around. And speaking of flying around, let's take a look at Witherspoon on this play. This corner blitz was perfectly executed by him. If we pause it here, this looks like man coverage across the board, as it's supposed to. But if we watch it from this angle, you see Witherspoon time this up excellently, as he's in the backfield as soon as this ball's hiked. And that's not just a one-off either. Here against the Giants, they run a similar blitz. And again, it's a great job by Witherspoon pre-snap as he's looking in the direction of the receivers, indicating that he'll be dropping back in coverage. But yet again, as soon as this ball's hiked, he's coming downhill and he gets a clean shot on Daniel Jones for the sack. And the balance on this defense is great, because while you have the young, talented Witherspoon making plays, you also have the savvy, experienced backer in Bobby Wagner making plays also. This is actually a great play call by the Giants as they fake this sweep to the outside, hoping it would get the Seahawks defense flowing that way and create this easy running lane for Daniel Jones. And it gets most of the defense, but not the vet Bobby Wagner, as he's ready for Daniel Jones to keep this ball and he meets him for a short gain when he does. And those plays are great, but the word that comes to mind when I think about this defense is versatility. Look here, you have Tariq Woolen, Devon Witherspoon, Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, and Bobby Wagner. On this play, the linebackers drop into coverage to help force the incompletion. But on the very next play, all those same guys are still on the field, but this time the linebackers switch spots as they add a little wrinkle to it and send both on the blitz. Just adding a few more things that this quarterback has to worry about. But I could go on and on about this defense, so before I do, let's talk about how dominant Gino Smith can be when he's dealing the ball around. Let's talk about one of the best plays from this past weekend. And first off, it's a great route by the rookie Jake Bobo. He fakes the slant and then shoots straight upfield. So the fact that the corner doesn't bite actually makes this throw from Geno better. But if we pause it here when Geno releases the ball, we see that Bobo and this corner are step for step. So the only way that this ball could be completed is if it's thrown to the back of the end zone. And while it's an amazing catch to get both feet in bounds, this throw is put exactly where it's needed to be. But that's not the only throw from Geno that's placed perfectly. Watch this. Here on this play, DK also runs a slant and go, but once Geno wasn't looking his way, he kind of gave up on the route and just stood around. But Geno ended up working to his right and somehow used DK's body placement to his advantage as he rifles this in for a touchdown. And based off some of the packages that Seattle runs, I could imagine that they made Geno's life hell in practice, just like they made Daniel Jones' life hell back in week 4. The Seahawks are going to get Daniel Jones with a stun on this play, and if you look here, you see he's ready to throw, but not only is there a pass rusher in his face, but his receiver isn't even out of his break yet. So this forces Daniel Jones to come off that receiver, and he's forced to get rid of this ball, leading to this interception. And tips and overthrows are a defensive back's dream. Now, I'm not sure what the future holds for Seattle, but I do know that they have the talent to compete in the NFC. They have the coach to compete in the NFC. All they need to do is showcase that they can compete in the NFC. And based on the things you've seen in this video, you can draw your own conclusions. And if you enjoyed this video, drop part 2 in the comments and I'll break down more plays and more ways this team can win games. Until then, be sure to check this video out, which is all about the things I had to say about this team after last season. Peace.